This is where it all began, where I was living at the time in my grandmother's house in West Orange. So the part where I got a little older and I became an adult at the age in my 20s. So this is where I start to notice her behavior and the way her energy shifted, and the energy that she was giving me wasn't like good energy towards me. It was more like she had an interior motive. Like you never know what you can get from this woman. One minute she will be sweet to you, then the next she'll be an evil spirit Jezebel. That like we don't know which one I be getting. Like I don't know when, or it could be anytime, any day. Something might happen. I always feel something in my heart. Yeah, something's gonna happen. I feel like something is coming. So it was that day where I was working at Macumbo House. I was working at the time, and me and her wasn't on good terms. We wasn't talking. So what happened was, since me and her wasn't talking, it's been months me and her wasn't talking, and then she started getting all this confusion on why me and her wasn't talking. But she knows why we wasn't talking, because it was a lot of disrespect and public humiliation that she was doing to me at the time, and for the fact that she couldn't understand or realize why me and her wasn't talking. And there were a lot of times where she had a smear campaign going on. Like she would tell her business outside the house, where it had nothing to do with everyone else. She'd always involving a third party into her situation and her business. And then she tried to involve my brother Brian into this when he had nothing to do with this. So my brother went to him one time. My brother went to her one time, and I was working. I was just minding my own business, and then the next thing I see is on Facebook. I was scrolling on Facebook, and then the next thing I see her page where she blasted all the conversation that me and her had, the argument and the thing that she was saying that was very disrespectful in the text messages that she sent me. That's the reason why me and her wasn't talking, because of the thing that she was saying. So what happened was, uh, when all of that was going on, I knew about it. I saw the Facebook. I saw what she said on social media. I didn't even confront her about it, because it was. I got at the point where I reached my breaking point where it was just like, you know what, man, I don't want a relationship with her right now. I'm not sure if I should have a relationship with her right now, because the trust is already broken and the loyalty, all of that just went out the window. So there is no loyalty between me and her anymore. So what happened was, I came home. I was really, really upset for what I saw on Facebook. So my brother confronted me and asked me, "Hey, Brandon, why you haven't spoken to Nana? Why you haven't spoken to your grandmother? What's going on?" So I showed him the phone, and this is exactly why me and her are not talking. This is exactly why me and her don't have a relationship right now. It had a lot to do with what she did on Facebook, the thing that she was posting, exposing all our business, and putting me on the internet, all because she was mad. That still doesn't justify. There's no justification in that. It it even she did come up with many of the excuses that she can. One excuse doesn't justify your actions on why you did it in the first place. You could come up with She can come up with many excuses that she want, but none of them are good. So my brother Brian confronted her about what she said on Facebook, and then she tried to dance around it. She was being invasive. She wasn't answering the question. She was being offended, talking about, "Oh, don't worry about it. It was a hacker." She lied to my brother, talking about it was a hacker. How you gonna sit there and lie to my brother about something like that when he found out that it came from you, from your phone, in a dining room where you log into your Facebook and then you posted that. The only location it came from in that house that you was living in. So how you gonna talk about it with a hacker or somebody? She tried to shit blame on others, and she tried to shit blame on other people like it's everybody else's fault why it was posted on the internet when it had nothing to do with everybody else. Do you know what I mean? She pat blame on everyone else, like it's everybody else's fault why me and her wasn't talking. When really it had a lot to do with it had a lot to do with her why me and her wasn't talking. So that's what happened. She publicly humiliated me, and after I told her, whatever you do, it doesn't matter if you're man or not, do not post me on the internet and do not talk about me to other people. I told her that. I gave her a simple instruction and she doesn't listen. She's hard headed. She want to do what the hell she want to do and not consider my feeling or my well being or nothing. She didn't care when she put me on the internet. So that's where this part of the story that I'm telling you guys is where I felt trapped in that relationship. And I felt like, you know what, it was time for me to get out. And it got to the point where uh in 2026, which is now, where this was last year where I ended the relationship. I didn't want the relationship anymore because this is not the first time she's been doing it. This is something that she's been doing since I was 16 years old. So it's the repeating pattern. It's very repetitive at this point. This is something that she's been doing. So I don't want nobody to think my grandmother is this angel, this sweet lady that y'all think she is. She may portray herself like that in public to everybody else, but behind closed doors, that's not what she is. So I just want to get that out there. I just want to let everybody know the truth. So I'm gonna tell you nothing but the truth. There's no reason for me to lie about any of this. Just the same way there's no reason for me to lie about my mother either.